In life, all of us are in search of happiness and joy, yet more often than not what we encounter is sorrow, disappointment, and restlessness. Have you ever wondered why this happens? We strive, we labor with great effort, and yet we find ourselves unsatisfied. Today we shall reflect upon a profound secret from the Ashtavakra Gita, a teaching that has the power to release life from the chains of suffering. This is the principle of expectation-free living, the secret to liberation from sorrow. Ashtavakra teaches that sorrow does not come from the outside, it is our own creation. It arises from our deeply held assumptions and expectations. According to Ashtavakra, the root cause of sorrow is expectation itself. Whenever we insist that events must unfold in a particular way, that things must go according to our will, that very insistence plunges us into deep suffering. Whoever binds himself with expectation will inevitably be miserable. This statement reveals to us the essential truth. Suffering is born from attachment to our desires. From childhood, we are entangled in the web of expectation. We wish for a good job, for honor and respect, for affection from others, for success in our endeavors. When these expectations remain unfulfilled, we break down. We become disheartened, frustrated, and unhappy. This sorrow did not come from outside. It arose solely because our expectations were not met. Ashtavakra connects this with the egoic belief, I am the doer. When we identify as the one who acts, we begin to assume ownership of outcomes. We believe that because we have acted, the result must be in our favor. Yet life rarely conforms to such expectations. The belief, I am the doer, is compared by Ashtavakra to a venomous serpent that continuously bites us, inflicting endless pain. Each of us lives clinging to the pride of our uniqueness and superiority, and this very pride binds us with countless expectations. Consider the parable of Mullah Nasruddin. One night, he was lying in bed with his wife. His wife expressed her desire for a son and asked, "If we have a son, where will we put him to sleep?" Mullah shifted slightly to the side. She asked again, "And if we have a second child?" Mullah moved further. "And if we have a third?" Mullah shifted again, and at last he fell off the bed, breaking his leg. The neighbors rushed over and asked what had happened. Mullah shouted, "The son who hasn't even been born yet broke my leg." This story illustrates how false assumptions and imagined expectations can yield real consequences. The children were not there, and yet his leg truly broke. Such is the power of expectation. Ashtavakra's profound message is this: you are already complete. Nothing needs to be added to you. You are perfect as you are. Within us resides innate joy and wholeness, but the weight of expectation conceals it. We become what Ashtavakra calls ego-driven beings of illusion, forgetting our true, liberated nature. We become what we believe ourselves to be. This is a form of self-hypnosis. The life of Sri Ramakrishna provides an extraordinary example. When he undertook the practice of the Sakhi Sampradaya discipline, in which a man must completely assume the identity of a woman, he immersed himself so deeply in this conviction that within 3 months his body began to change. His chest developed, his voice altered, and after 6 months he even began to menstruate. Though this defied biological law, the power of belief transformed his body. Psychological experiments affirm the same. At Harvard University, a professor once told his students that an empty bottle contained ammonia gas. He asked them to raise their hands if they smelled it. Within seconds, the entire class raised their hands, yet the bottle was empty. Similarly, in another story, a sick man poured orange juice into a bottle labeled urine. When the nurse saw him drink it, she fainted in shock, convinced it was urine. These examples demonstrate how beliefs can shape our reality. Ashtavakra declares, we are not the body. It is only because we assume ourselves to be the body that we become bound by it. Whatever we accept as true, we become. The world itself is nothing but our collective assumption. Thus, Ashtavakra instructs, with the sword of knowledge that you are pure awareness, cut down the false assumption that you are the body. Then you will be happy. All sorrows belong to the body, birth, disease, aging, and death. To identify with the body is to share in all its sufferings. How then can we break free from this cycle of sorrow? Ashtavakra offers a radical path, the expectation-free life. This does not mean we must renounce action or fall into passivity. Rather, it means freeing the mind from the conditions it places upon happiness, the conditions that say, "I will be happy only if this happens." This is the principle of gratitude. Ashtavakra advises us, whatever comes to you, receive it with gratitude. When we free ourselves from desire and expectation, and instead fill ourselves with thankfulness for what life has already given, sorrow begins to dissolve on its own. Expectations are the wall of the mind that separates us from the infinite joy already present within. Ashtavakra says, happiness is our very nature, sorrow is the result of causes. In other words, sorrow must be produced, but happiness simply is. All that is required is recognition. This truth is well illustrated by a Sufi story. A man weary of life went to the river to end his own. A Sufi mystic stopped him and asked whether he would sell his eyes for $1 million. The man refused. For 10 million? Still, he refused. The mystic then said, "See, your eyes alone are worth more than 10 million, and yet you were ready to throw away your life claiming you had nothing. The lesson is clear. What we already possess, we fail to see. We forget the priceless value of our eyes, our ears, and the miracle of life itself. The sun, the air, the birdsong, everything has been given freely without condition. Yet we become sorrowful when small expectations go unmet. This is the disease of ego that consumes us. Ashtavakra's message is unambiguous. Our sorrow is the result of expectations, and our happiness is the fruit of gratitude. The proverb, "As the mind, so the destiny," is entirely true. Our world is created by our thinking. A simple example, a friend of mine, Bolaram, once consumed cannabis and caused a public disturbance. When the police arrested him, he became so paranoid that he imagined every officer was after him, every radio broadcast was about him, and even the walls had ears. Ultimately, the officers staged a charade, burned a file, and accepted a bribe to convince him he was free. His suffering was real to him, yet it was born only of his belief. His ego was gratified when his delusion seemed confirmed. This illustrates that bondage exists only in assumption. It is not real. If we believe ourselves bound, we remain bound. If we know ourselves free, we are free. All we must do is recognize this truth. I am pure awareness. I am not the doer. This conviction is the nectar of immortality. By drinking it, one becomes happy instantly. Be free from sorrow and be happy, says Ashtavakra. The world is only a projection of our mistaken perception, just as a rope in darkness may be mistaken for a snake. When the light comes, the snake vanishes, and only the rope remains. Likewise, when the veil of expectation and ignorance is removed, supreme joy reveals itself. Ashtavakra further explains that just as a mirror contains both the reflection within it and the reality outside it, the divine pervades both the inside and the outside of the body. Do not confuse yourself with the wave. Recognize yourself as the ocean. He who identifies with the wave is bound, but he who knows himself as the ocean is free. Similarly, just as space exists both inside and outside a clay pot, the eternal Brahman pervades all beings. We are like earthen vessels. Outside is the same reality as inside. Do not overvalue the fragile walls of the pot. If you believe that the clay walls are who you are, you will be reborn as pots again and again. But once you realize that you are the empty space within, you are liberated. Lao Tzu also said, "The true value of a pot lies not in its walls, but in the emptiness it holds." You are complete. You are the divine. You are vast, a witness, one free, conscious, actionless, unattached, desireless, and serene. You need not become this. You already are this. You only need to awaken to it. You are untouched. No event can stain you. You are like the lotus untouched by water. This is Ashtavakra's message. Therefore, let us, from this very day, fill ourselves with gratitude for this invaluable gift of life. Let us regard each moment as a blessing. Let us cast off the burden of expectation and experience the boundless joy that has always dwelt within us. As the scripture says, "You are bliss itself, move through the world in happiness."